Plum Organics, they're owned by Campbell's Soup. Plum Organics. And these are companies that have put money into funding this campaign.
No on 102?
For you to vote no.
Okay.
On the GMO labeling.
Okay.
So, it's just shocking that money from Johnson & Johnson has been put into this campaign against labeling, GMO labeling. And, they've put this money into it and used Burt's Bees' name, and
so I wonder how much money Johnson & Johnson actually got from Monsanto.
Well, Monsanto, of course, is at the they're the king of this. They're at the top of it. They're the ones who, I'm sure we're all behind the initiation, of this whole thing to go against it. And Monsanto, so far in the campaign against GMO labeling, they've already put in $8.8 million.
Compared to...
Well, $8.8 million. The most. DuPont has put in $7.6 million.
Okay.
And then Simply Orange.
Simply Orange, oh, okay.
Simply Orange. I mean, come on. They're owned by Coca-Cola. So $2.5 million has been donated to the campaign against GMO labeling in the name of Simply Orange, who is owned by Coca-Cola. And Naked Juice. Come on. Naked Juice and the Adewale, who does the and I love him on the run, but I won't be buying them anymore.
I wonder why they would want you to vote no.
Well, the thing is that they're owned by a corporation. These are natural products that we've become familiar. We have all
household item names.
That's right. I mean, we've become familiar with and we use
for generations.
And then we find out, who's behind owning them. And so, Naked Juice is owned by Pepsi. And $3 million from Pepsi, or Naked Juice is fun. I mean, come on, that's a big company.
Right.
I mean, they do and now it's like they do the maybe organic juices, fruits and vegetables that go into their juices. And, what I liked about it is, you split, you leave the house, I forget my alkaline water, you're thirsty, run in somewhere, everybody's filling up, the Monster Beasts with pop, and I'm looking for Naked Juice or a Adewale. Or I love it though when I always buy something if it's made in Boulder because it supports Colorado. It supports a small company.
All right.
And supports a like thinker. And one thing that's really, really cool is the companies who have stood up for labeling and has put money into the fund for that. $88,500 is Boulder Brands. So Boulder Brands is staying right there in the fight with, wanting the GMO labeling. So.
On.
But some of these other ones, I mean, just really, please get a piece of paper and a pen and write this down. Because, as you're trying to feed your family healthier, you need to write down the names of these companies. These are companies that support, no GMO labeling. They don't want you to know. And GMO foods, there is double-blind studies going on in labs. They're doing tests in labs. There's other countries other than the United States who are doing research on GMO foods, and there is enough information already that you don't want to feed your family these foods.
Look at all the countries that have already banned it, burned their crops.
Exactly.
And said, and shipped it back to the United States and said, oh, hell no.
Right. You know, they don't want the labeling because, stop and think about it. Does it get to have a red circle with a red line through it that says GMO? Does that get to be the, plastered on all the food that has it? And it's or the food that doesn't have it. Food that doesn't have it, we'd get to have that. And then the ones that do have it, it needs to be more like a radiation emblem that says GMO.
Right.
So it's some type of a toxic emblem, and that there's stuff, everything should be marked, but write this down. Okay, so Burt's Bees, they've put money into it. A company called, Grown Right. Off the top, I've never heard of them, but it could be big in another state.
Right.
And Wolfgang Puck, his line. Burt's Bees, now owned by Johnson & Johnson. Plum Organics, they're owned by Campbell Soup. Okay, get this one. Horizon Organics.
Really?
It was like, wow.
That kind of one makes sense, though. That one kind of makes sense to me why they would do that. But hey,
really?
Whatever.
Horizon Organics.
Yeah, you know what? That just makes me say that name's bullshit. But okay, fine.
I just thought they had more integrity than that.
Yeah. Well, that just shows you now.
Well, and then Silk. Silk brand. They also are against GMO labeling, and this blew my mind. So I won't be buying their product anymore either. Earthbound Farms.
Earthbound Farms.
The organic field green spring mix, the organic spinach.
Oh, really?
Already cleaned and everything, and then I wash it in my low acidic alkaline water to make sure it's clean, and then put it in a high alkaline bath and let it sit, and I won't be buying their products anymore. Sweet Leaf Tea brand. Come on. Gerber Foods. Well, they've really never touted natural, but I think they have natural, maybe. Now, they might be saying.
Oh, well, they have a McDonald's Big Mac Gerber baby food now.
What?
I shit you not, man.
What's that about?
Yeah, that's what I...
You mean in a
baby
jar?
In a baby jar.
In a jar. They've got a pureed
pretty much,
Big Mac.
Yeah, that's what they advertise it as.
Wow, well, go on YouTube and check out some of their stuff with their food.
Right, and McDonald's been going on this big old push here lately, trying to, prove that their meat ain't as bad as what it's being shown online.
Yeah, well, hey, they can just, too bad. Too bad, so sad. Cargill. Well, we knew Cargill would be involved.
Right.
That was no surprise to me. They put in $250,000. McCormick Spices, $130,000 in the campaign against GMO labeling. And McCormick Spices, they've been irradiating their spices for decades. They give them this 400, the radiation levels that are equivalent to 400 chest x-rays at once. And they've been exposing their spice line to that for decades.
Wow.
For decades.
Wow.
So... let's see here. Bear Naked, the brand Bear Naked. They're owned by Kellogg. and $750,000 was put into the fund. My mind was blown when I read this. R.W. Knudsen family.
What?
I was
What?
speechless. It was like, what?
That breaks my heart right there.
It does. And Amy's. Amy's Food. Amy's Food, they were just sold, Amy's was just sold just a couple months ago. General Foods bought them. It was like $860 million. You go, girl. Whoa. $860 million.
Hey, good for her.
Yeah. And so prior to General Foods buying Amy's, there was a contribution from Amy's in support of GMO labeling.
Okay.
Okay, so
before
Amy's
she sold it,
company, yes, before there was a contribution of $80,000 prior to selling the company that was in support and the campaign towards GMO labeling. However, since General Foods bought them, there's been contribution from General Foods into the against the GMO labeling. And this really blew my mind too, is that General Foods also owns Cascadian Farm.
Really?
They do the frozen organic produce. And Muir Glen, which they have garden canned items. Muir Glen. And MUIRGLEN. That company, they're owned by General Foods, and General Foods supports all of this movement and propaganda on trying to sway everybody, thinking it's too complicated for the GMO labeling. So we've got to have GMO labeling. The companies, if you don't have anything to hide, you don't have anything to worry about. I mean, come on. It's not that complicated. Don't think we're so stupid that it's got to be that way. If you don't have anything in there that's toxic to the human body, then don't worry about it.
Okay, so Burt's Bees was number 1 on the list?
Well, they're here as far as supporters.
So I wonder who was.
Against.
So Monsanto was kind of like snuck in there, right?
Well, no,
kind of like 3rd or 4.
No, Monsanto. I guess if you're looking at it from a donation standpoint, then Monsanto's at the top. They're 8.8 that they've got in this fight.
Understood. Okay,
because
I just wanted to make sure that was right. Okay, I
yeah.
just wanted to make sure I was understanding right. So.
Yeah, they do not want GMO.
Well, no, not because of the deals that they've made. I mean, it's ridiculous. What the government has allowed Monsanto to push through.
Yeah. And then Similac, baby formula. Similac, contribution against GMO labeling.
See, why would that be? Why would that be?
$350,000.
See, that's quite a good little chunk right there.
Hey, and Cashy. Cashy was busted out a couple of years ago on, their cereals. Their cereals were made with GMO grains.
Uh-huh.
Well, guess what? Cashy is owned by Kellogg. And there was money on Cashy's behalf into the fund for all of this campaigning against GMO labeling. Laura Bar, Morningstar Farms.
Wow.
Land Lakes gave $1.6 million. Santa Cruz Organics, it just welches.